This is the first in a short series of videos about CSS selectors. Once you understand how selectors work, it can make it really easy to target specific bits of your document, even if you don't have control to add classes all through the markup. We're going to start, however, by looking at some of the simplest selectors: element, class and ID selectors. So the most basic way to target something in CSS is to just use the element itself. So here I've got various elements in my HTML. I've got headings and paragraphs. So if I want to target those paragraphs, I just use P, and we can make all of the paragraphs in my document red. And we could do the same for headings. We could do level 1 and level 2 headings at once. So that's great if you want to target everything in the document, make it exactly the same. If we want to target something specifically, then that's where we can add a class. So I've added a class here in my HTML, a class of box, and we target that .box, and we make that red. So that's great. We can now target anything in our document that has a class of box. So that could even be a heading or anything else. And it's for this reason that we just use .box. We don't start it with the element itself. And in general, that's what you want to do. You want to just have the bare class, because that means you can apply that to all different kinds of elements in your document. It doesn't need to be just a paragraph. We can also use an ID selector, like this. Now the thing with an ID is it can only be used once per document. So it could be that this H2 has an ID of box, but we couldn't also apply the same ID to a paragraph. In general, you probably don't want to be styling based on IDs because of the fact this makes your CSS very hard to reuse. I would use a class because you can have an ID and a class on an element. So if you need to add an ID perhaps for your JavaScript, that's fine. You can just add your class as well in order to style the element.